In a world full of mystical entities beyond the human nature that cannot be explained, we present to you Folklore Series.
It's the 28th of November 2009 and the Ghosts of London team are investigating the old Mary King's Close underground vault along Edinburgh's historic Royal Mile. It's late and the team are the last to leave the building. As they depart, they take a few last snaps and head out of the vault. The team didn't think anything too strange had happened until they reviewed their photos. On the right, you can see what appears to be a young boy's face. Could this really be a ghost caught on camera? Let me know in the comments down below.
My name is Pascal. I'm 22 years old now, but this event happened 3 years ago when I was 19. It happened in the middle of the night when my parents were away for an important company meeting. The company was kind of far away from where we lived, so I stayed home by myself while they were gone. One time, while I was at home alone, I looked out the window randomly and froze. There was a tall man, almost dressed entirely in black. He was wearing a tuxedo and holding a kitchen knife. This guy was standing right outside of the door, looking at me. He wasn't laughing at all, and his head was twitching continuously. "Sir, please get off our property, otherwise I'll call the police." I opened the window and told him. Then the man replied, "Oh, you can do that if you want, as long as you don't look away." Because of this strange attitude, I felt anxious, so I grabbed my cell phone and called the police. But when I looked out the window again, he was gone. At that very moment, I heard footsteps coming from downstairs. I suddenly remembered that I forgot to lock my garden door, so it was still open. I thought I was gonna die at first, but then I pulled myself together. I got my bat and looked down the stairs, slowly, trying not to make a sound. There he was. He was just staring at me. He didn't move but said, "I told you not to look away." A few moments later, we heard sirens. The man still did not move. But then he suddenly changed his mind and walked over to me. I tried to swing my bat towards him, but I was so scared. I couldn't do anything except scream. The police broke down the door. One policeman tried to arrest him, and the other one tried to take the knife away from him, but the man resisted. He was strong. Even though he was outnumbered, they couldn't stop him. They threatened to shoot him in the foot, but he didn't care. Furthermore, he attacked the two policemen, and they tumbled down to the ground. I ran to one of the rooms and slammed the door shut, but he kicked in the door. When the door opened, I could see his face, and I will never, ever forget that moment. However, at that very moment, the police caught up to him and shot his foot. The guy started screaming in pain. Shortly after that, he managed to jump outside of a window and disappeared. The policemen chased after him, but unfortunately, they failed to arrest him. I never saw that guy again. I'm glad that I survived that incident, but I also feel nervous that he'll come to my house again. From that day on, I always made sure I locked all the doors and windows.
La Pascualita, also known as the Corpse Bride, is a mannequin that has become the subject of a popular urban legend in Chihuahua, Mexico. The story goes that the mannequin, which is currently on display in a bridal shop in the city, is actually the embalmed corpse of the store owner's daughter. According to the legend, the daughter, whose name was Pascuala Esparza, died on her wedding day in the early 20th century. She was so beautiful that her mother, who owned the bridal shop, decided to preserve her body by having it embalmed and putting it on display in the store. The mannequin, which is said to have an uncanny resemblance to Pascuala, has been on display in the shop ever since. Over the years, the legend of La Pascualita has taken on a life of its own. Some people claim that they have seen the mannequin move or change positions, while others say that they have heard it whisper or even cry. Some even believe that the mannequin is cursed and that bad things will happen to anyone who tries to take her out of the store.
I would like a bone.
The legend of the black-eyed children is a mysterious and eerie story that has been circulating since the late 1990s. It is said that these children have completely black eyes, without any whites or pupils. The story usually goes that people report encountering these strange children late at night, often in deserted areas, or knocking on their doors and asking to be let inside. They are described as having an eerie presence that instills fear and unease in those who encounter them. Many who have come in contact with the black-eyed children have reported feeling physically ill, overwhelmed with dread, or experiencing a sense of extreme danger. Some have even reported blackouts or memory loss following an encounter with the black-eyed children. The legend suggests that these children are supernatural or extraterrestrial beings with sinister intentions, attempting to gain entry into homes or vehicles to harm or abduct their victims. Some believe that they are the spirits of children who died tragically or that they are demons in disguise.
When I was young, my father used to come home late at night. He then turned on classical music at full volume and cut something in the kitchen all night. On such days, when I woke up the next morning, I used to see him serving heaps of meat on the table, saying like, "I can't believe it has this much meat. We could eat throughout the week." And he looked so pleased. One day, he came home with a dagger stuck in his thigh. Struck with fear, I was about to call 911, but he shouted, "No, don't call 911, or my quarry will run away." Then he did first aid and put a bandage on the wound by himself. After that, my father fell into a coma and woke up 2 days later. When I asked him what happened to him, he said, "I was bitten by a wolf while hunting." I didn't understand what he meant then. Time passed, and I was about 12. One day, I woke up early in the morning and heard him humming in the kitchen, which was full of the smell of roasting meat. I walked closer to the kitchen and saw him cooking alone. Soon, he was going downstairs to the cellar. I also went after him to surprise on the sly. In fact, I hadn't been to the cellar because my father always kept it locked. I followed him to the cellar and watched him taking meat out of a large fridge. However, I saw the meat in the fridge. It was human meat. I shouted in panic, "What the heck are you doing here?" My father turned around and said, "Oh, my boy, this is the most perfect meat on the planet. Fish, animal, none of those things can dare to compare to the taste of this." I ran upstairs screaming. He shouted from behind, "You had it already! You know how tasty it is!" Thoroughly confused and disgusted, I threw up. I had no idea what to do. I was just a little boy. And I turned 18. One day, my father put me in the car, saying we're going camping in the mountains. After we arrived, he told me to lie in wait for a quarry. I said, crying, that I wanted to go home. But he gave me a hatchet and said sternly, "Now, feed yourself on your own." I could see it was not a joke through his determined face. We pitched a tent there and had hidden ourselves for a couple of days. My food from home was already gone, and I struggled hard to hunt small animals like a rabbit or something like that because I literally had nothing to eat. But my father didn't seem in the least interested in such things. After several more days, I finally found a climbing couple passing by in the area. When I was about to say hello with a
Skinwalkers are a part of Native American folklore, particularly among the Navajo people and some other tribes in the southwestern United States. They are believed to be supernatural beings or practitioners of dark magic who have the ability to transform into animals, typically wolves, coyotes, bears, or other creatures. The term skinwalker comes from the idea that these beings can walk or shift between the skins of different animals. In Native American beliefs, skinwalkers are generally considered malevolent and associated with witchcraft, often using their powers to harm others, cause illness, or create chaos. They are believed to have gained their powers through forbidden rituals or acts of great evil, which enable them to shapeshift and carry out their malevolent deeds. Due to the secretive and potentially dangerous nature of skinwalker beliefs, discussions about them are often considered sensitive and reserved within the cultures that hold these beliefs.